So in today's video, we are going to be giving our player the ability to attack objects and also enemies. In our case, we've got one enemy in our scene. So now we are going to want to create the ability for our player to actually attack some of these, because some of the objects in our scene, like for example, I think in today's video we'll work on this one. Some of the objects in the scene are actually going to have like coins and things inside of them. Well, not really, but it's going to look like they are. Once you've broken them, by attacking them or hitting them a few times with certain weapons, we are going to break the object and then just like throw out a bunch of coins so that the player actually has something to collect. So we're going to give our player the ability to destroy these crates using this attack ability that will give our player, and then using that same ability, the player will also be able to attack some of our enemies. In this case, we have a spider in our scene at the moment, so it could use that to destroy or kill the spider instead of having to jump over it. So let's go and get started on that. So we are going to start by creating an animation for the attack ability, and then we will trigger this at first using the mouse button, but then depending on how long that takes us to complete, we might actually also implement it so that you can press one of the keys on the keyboard, just so you have two different options. And then once we've done that, we will then start working on one of the crates. In this episode, we'll start with a crate. We'll create a breaking animation. I think we have the images for that. So once we've hit the crate a bunch of times, we'll also give it a random number of times you have to hit it, so that not every crate or object is the same. And once we've done that, we will play the animation to break the crate once it's reached the specific amount of times it's needed. And then we'll play the animation and then probably throw out some coins, some collectible coins. And I think we're going to add some gravity to the coins so that they fall down onto the floor, because it's going to be weird if we throw out a bunch of coins and they're just floating in the scene. But yeah, let's start with that. So the previous episode, we started working on our backgrounds. Now, I haven't figured out yet. I've kind of got a solution to it, but I haven't done it yet, so I don't really know if it works. So we'll continue with that probably on Friday's episode, if I finish that. But for now, I'm just going to drag in a background onto our camera, just so that we have a background. So let's just drag in this one, put this one as our camera background, and then I'm just going to reset this. Also, why can't you see that? Can we see that? No, we can't. Where's our camera? Oh, let's put it there. That's because it is disabled. No. Let's see. Why can't you see that in the camera? That's strange. Okay, that's a bit weird, but anyway, that's not important. Let's go and work on our animation. So we have these animation folders over here somewhere. Where is it? Animations. Now we should have a player attack animation. Where is that? Sprites, main character, player, roll, run, climb, idle, jump, roll. No. Player, bow, sword. We're going to use our sword. So we're going to use let's see, attack 1. What is our attack 2 different? I mean, they're probably very similar, but we'll start with the attack 1. Yeah, let's start with the attack 1. So on our player, let's bring our animation window. We'll push this over here so we can use it. Now let's create our attack 1. So we will drag all of these into here. Oh, let's create, this is idle, so let's create a new clip, and this is going to be attack. We're probably just going to use the same attack animation for all of our attacks, so attacking like enemies and crates, probably in the entire game, because I don't think we're really going to be finishing this game anytime soon, because it's quite a long game. So let's drag these in here and let's play it and see what it looks like. Okay, so that's a bit too fast. That's good. That looks good. Yeah, that's fine. So let's save that. Well, that's saved as the attack animation. So we should have that now in our animation table tree over here. So we are going to need a transition from idle to our attack, and then I'm not sure if we need one back to idle, because I think once it's played it should actually, let's just make it so once we played our attack animation it should automatically go back to our idle state. So from going from our idle to our attack, we are going to want to create another parameter, and this is going to be a trigger. This is going to be attack. Okay, so when we go from idle to attack, let's go and give a condition for attack, and that's just going to be attack. So that's saved. Now we need to create, actually I don't know if we need to create a script. We should have a player script, and on here we have an animator, so we can access that from here. So in our update method, I'm going to create another method called attack. So let's do this, attack, and let's go and create this. So this is going to be a private void attack, the name of the method we just created. And then in here we can go and say if the, we need to get the input of our mouse. So if input dot get mouse button, I think it's get mouse button down and then 0. I think that's the left key. If that is pressed, then let's go and print out, let's go and say attack. So let's go see if that works. So let's go to our game scene, and then let's see, hopefully this works, because that will make it a lot easier. So we can, now you can see whenever I'm pressing, you can't really see, but I'm currently pressing a mouse button, and you can see it in the console. Every time I press it, it increases once. So that's working. Now instead of actually printing out our print statement, we need to go and tell the player to attack something. So also, if you can hear that noise in the background, I do apologize. They're doing a lot of constructions next door. Can't really do anything about it. But instead of printing out just the word attack, let's go and access our animation. So here, let's go and say animator dot, I think it's set trigger. And then here we need to go and say it's going to be the same one exactly the same as the one we used in here. So that is going to be with a lowercase attack. So hopefully that now plays our animation. So let's go and test that out. Once we've done this, hopefully this works, we can then go and, okay, so you can see that our animation is now working. Every time we press our mouse button, we get an attack, but it is slightly delayed. So why is it slightly delayed? Let's see, attack, go onto here. Do we have, it's a little bit delayed. Why? I don't really want the delay. So let's see. Let's try this. Let's idle to attack, transition duration 0 seconds, has no exit time. Let's try that. Okay, there we no longer have any delay. So as soon as we press it, you can attack something. I mean, it's not the best animation, but it will do for now. We might have to use one of the other ones. Let's see. I think maybe the third one might be a little bit better, but we'll leave it like that. It's not that important. So let's go and create a crate animation. So I think we have in our background, let's see, Phonos crate. Here we have this breaking animation. So we can first of all go and, where's our scene? Let's actually make this bigger. So let's bring this crate over here somewhere, just so we can test it out. Now on this crate, we need to, let's rename it first of all. Let's say we will create a prefab out of this so that we don't have to keep doing it. We'll just drag it into our prefabs folder, and then when we want to add crates into our game, we can just drag this one in. So this is our crate. Let's go and create an animation for it. So let's say create, or let's say smash. Like that, I don't know, something like that. So let's save this. Also, I don't really know where I saved the other one. That's a bit of a problem, animations, but we don't want to put it in this one. We want it to be in our project folder, animations, coin, fire, spider. Okay, so we didn't do it in this folder. So let's create a crate folder, and then we can put a smash animation in here. Now let's go and drag all of these into here. So when we play this, we should see our crate break. So that should be fine. Now let's see, crate. Let's go, where's it, animator. We now have, how do I get there? Here's our smash animation. Now we want it to, going from empty, default entry transition are not previewable. Okay, so when we go and we're going to need to add a script onto this crate so that we can add a amount of times that it needs to be hit before it's destroyed. And then we also need to, somehow when the crate is actually destroyed, we need to go and throw out a bunch of coins. So on our crate, let's go and create a new script, and that's going to be called crate. Well, let's create that, and then that should add that onto there automatically, and then we should be able to edit that. So on our crate, let's just move that into our scripts folder. Let's open this up. Okay, so in here we are going to need a, let's see, what's it going to be? It's going to public. We'll make it public for now because we will have to access it from our, actually we might not have to. Let's go and say private. We can do everything in here. So private int, what are we going to call this? Let's call it strength. Strength is going to be equal to 4. Let's start off with 4. So in other words, you are going to have to hit this crate 4 times for it to eventually break. So on, I don't know if we're going to need these, so let's go and get rid of them for now. And then in here we can go and say on collision enter 2D. And then in here we are going to put in if the collision dot game object dot compare tag is going to be global dot player tag. So if we get hit by the player, then we can go and say strength minus minus. So that should subtract 1 from the strength. And then I'm just going to print out the strength just so we can see if it is actually getting updated. Now, I don't know if this is going to work because I don't know it should work because we should have a, okay, so we don't want that to loop. So let's go and change that. How do we, I can't remember how we do this. So we have to do it in our animation. So animations, create, what is it? Loop time. We don't want that to loop. So let's go and see, press play, and then it shouldn't break. Okay, but it does. So let's see, create animator, empty smash, speed 1. How do we get it to not play? Actually, I think I know how to do it. So let's do this. Let's go and delete this. We might have to do it again. Let's delete that. We don't want to put the animation in our game. We want to put the actual crate. So where's our crate? 2D platformer, sprites, enemy objects, maybe? Yeah, so it should be in here. So here's our box 2. So let's drag this one into our scene. We'll put this one in here. Put this one over here somewhere. Okay, so now let's see. We should have a box. Okay, so that's fine. Now that's not going to animate. Now on our box 2, we need to go and add our crate script. So let's just go and see if this works, because if this does work, then we can go and add an animator to it, and then we can go and touch break. So it's not going to pick it up because it doesn't have any colliders or anything on it, so it doesn't really know when anything is going through it. So the problem, actually, we need to go and say, how are we going to do this? Because we don't want to, we want to be able to walk past some crates. Let's just go and say collider, box collider 2D. I'm just going to bring this up here so I can see it. So the problem with this is now some of our crates are going to be in the scene. So I think we have a crate down here somewhere. Do we? No, we have a bucket. And then what do we have down here? Okay, nothing. So the problem that I'm thinking now is some of these objects in our scene are going to be interactable. So like this crate, you will be able to break, but we also, for that, we also need to add a collider onto it. But if we add a collider onto it, we're not going to be able to walk through it. So let's see that happen now. So if we walk past it, you see we can't walk into it, but you can see that our strength is now working. So every time we walk into this, our strength decreases by 1. So that's fine. Now, we only want that to happen when we play our attack animation. So how are we going to do that? Is there a way to figure out if we are only attacking it? Maybe. Let's see. Okay, so let's do this. For our crate, I'm going to attempt this by setting that to an is trigger, and then I'm going to change this on collision enter to a on trigger enter. I think that's what it's called, 2D. Collision 2D, collision 2D. Okay, let's get rid of this because it's something to do with these. I can't remember what they are. So let's get rid of that and say on trigger enter 2D. Okay. So that's fine. Now let's just go and see if that's still working. So we should be able to walk through it and still trigger that. So if we walk through our crate, okay, so that's still working. We can walk through it now and it's still picking up that we need to reduce 1 from the health. So let's see. Instead of just printing this out, let's go and do this. First of all, we only want to reduce this if the strength is greater than 0. So let's say if we collide with a box and the strength is greater than 0, then go and deduct 1 from the strength. Let's see if that works. I'm just going to put this back, print strength, just to make sure that that's actually working. Let's test it out. So we should only be able to trigger that 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and then, or 0, and then that should be it. So it's just going to keep printing out 0. So that's fine. Okay, so that's working fine. Now, when we get to 0, we don't want to print this out. We want to go and say, if the strength is equal to 0, then we want to play an animation. So here we are going to need a serialized field, private animator, what is it going to be called? Animator. And then we need to go and play that trigger. Now, let's see, box2 animator. Let's create a parameter, and this is going to be a trigger. Actually, what is it going to be? It's going to be a... Yeah, we'll leave it as a trigger. Let's see if it works. So let's go and say break, just like that. And then the problem is this is not showing up, so I don't really know. I don't really know if you can do this. Transitions, add behavior. That's going to be a bit of a problem. But let's go and see. Let's see. When this strength is equal to 0, we need to go and say animator. This is what we would do, which is the same as what we did in our attack animation. So when we reach the strength is equal to 0, we need to go and say animator.set trigger to, do we use a capital? No, we didn't. Break. So that should ideally play the, what am I doing? This needs to be in, oh my goodness, in quotation marks so that it is, there's no errors. So that should play the break animation. Now it's not going to, because we can't make a transition. Let's see how to trigger object animation in Unity. That's not helpful. Okay, bear with me for a second. Let's just play this and see what's going to happen. So that's not actually, hold on. Let's see. On the box, we need to add animator. I think that's why. Animator onto there. And then let's see, create animator. Nope, that's not why. So on our player, we have a animator and the controller is player idle 0. So box2, let's go and see, let's go say, where's our animations? Assets, animations, create. We'll drag this into here and let's see if that works. Box2, add that into there. And then if we play this, we should see the animation, which we do. What's the avatar? Avatar is going to be none. Okay, so that's fine. Normal and always. Okay, so let's see. Does that work now? Okay, no, that doesn't work, but I'm just going to play this and see. Do we get an animation? We do, but we don't want that to happen unless we attack it. So let's see, unit, how to trigger object animation in Unity when colliding. Have to do a bit of Google research here. So let's see, as soon as that interacts with that, okay, so that's fine. We don't want the art, we want to figure out how to so box collider, yeah, we've got that, yeah, that's fine. Balloon needs a collider as well. So we've got a collider on our box, do we? Box collider, we've got, what else do we need? Animator, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Animation. Okay, so we need to play an animation. Okay, maybe that's why. So let's go and say. Okay, so we need an animator. That's fine. Animator. Instead of set trigger, we need to go and say play an animation. So let's go and bring in a animation clip. What is it called? Animation clip. There we go. Animation clip, and this is going to be break. So that's fine. So we can go and say no, we can't use that because the break is already something. So break animation, like that. So copy that and paste that in there. Close that off. So argument 1 cannot convert from animation to string. Okay, so this needs to be string, which I believe is probably going to be the name of the animation. So we can go and say, what did we name it? It is named crate, I think. Crate. Save that. Now let's just go and test that out and see if that works. Does that work? So we do get our break. Okay, so we need to go and set that back to 0, well, nothing, and let's test this out again. So that's not going to break anymore. Now let's see, where do we put our trigger when it's equal to 0? So let's just go and collide with this quick. So 1, 2, 3 should hopefully happen on this one. Variable animator of crate has not been assigned. Box 2 animator. Okay, so oh yeah, we haven't dragged that in there. Okay, so let's drag this in here, and hopefully I'm just going to reduce this from 4 to the first one because we don't really need it. We don't really need to wait for 4 triggers just for testing purposes, so we can just do it on the first one. So hopefully once we go into here, animator does not have an animator controller. Okay. Player idle 0. Yeah, let's see. Assets, 2D, sprites, animations, crate. Let's see, can we use one of these for our controller? No, we can't. So let's bring this back in, and hopefully that works. I think that's going to break it though again. So that's just going to break it. So why is that not working? So that is a problem. Let's hold on. Let's see. What does it say? I need that error again. Animator doesn't have a controller or something. Let's just collide with that quick. Animator, go to state. State could not be found. Play. Create none. And let's play that again. So we need animator does not have a animator controller. Okay, so let's see. Can I copy that? Don't want to open that. We want to copy this and search for that. So probably have to set a controller, I guess. So let's see, string to I think that's a bit overcomplicated. We don't really want that. Go to state could not be found. Engine, yeah, that's exactly what we have. What is the name of the state you're trying to play? You will have to pass the name into the animator string to hash method. When you call animator methods in the game object utilize initiation phase, it will show this warning. You can do the job in next frame to avoid the warning. Or let me Google this, how to set animation controller. Let's try that. Let's go and say, let's get rid of this and say, oh, that's not going to work though, because player transform, not game object dot get component. Okay, that's not going to work. So we need to somehow figure out how to not get this to play when we load in the game. So can we do that? So let's go to our animation. Where's our animation? I think we can do that. Animations, create this one. Loop time, no. Create. Entry, smash, motion. This is a bit confusing because surely it shouldn't be playing straight away unless it's been asked to. Create animator, yeah. I'm just going to set it to a different one and see if it actually works. I don't think it will work. So that's going to be set to a coin, and then when you go into it, nothing happens. So that's a bit confusing. So we are going to have to try and figure out how to create a controller the correct way, then use that as the controller for here, because this is clearly not working. When we go and create that, I don't understand why. Hold on. I think I know why it's doing it. I just don't know how to fix it. So on entry, we go into, no, that's not what I want. Entry. Spider, box 2. Okay, no, we can't get there though. How do we get back to, yeah, there it is, create. So on entry, we don't want to smash it. So let's go and, can we get rid of that? Let's create an empty state over there and make this the transition. No, that's not what I wanted. Let's go and say set as default layer. And I don't think that's going to do anything. So let's just go play the game and see if that works. Okay, so we have a box there that does nothing. Now, did we reset that? So we did reset that. So let's put that back in there and let's see. That hopefully won't break. Okay, so that doesn't break. Now, I'm just going to run into our crate and see, hopefully that works, because we have said when animator go to state could not be found. Okay, so let's see. Animator from new state, let's make a transition to smash and make a condition of break. And then what we can do is, instead of saying play, we can go and say set trigger break. And if this doesn't work, then I don't know what I'm doing. Well, exactly, I don't really know how to fix it, but I'll do some research into it and see if there's a problem or a different way to do it. So reference not set to an instance. Okay, so let's see, create, what did I do? Object reference not set to an instance of an object. What is it? Line 21. Because we haven't set our animator. So let's go and redo that. So let's say serialized field, private, set that, and then we can drag that in when that loads. Drag this into there, and there's a moment of truth. Hopefully this will work. And I don't think it's going to work. Oh, it works. Okay, that's perfect. So let's go and do this. Let's increase the strength to about 4, and then we can do the exact same thing, walk into it, and then it should, after 4 attempts, or after 4 walkthroughs, I guess, it should break itself. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. Okay, so that's fine. Now, the thing that we need to do in the next episode is, instead of destroying the crate when you walk through it, we are going to need to try and destroy the crate when we have attacked it. So we'll need to add some kind of condition to that to only figure out when the player is attacking the crate, because we don't really want all the crates to destroy themselves just as soon as the player is walking through them, because that's just not cool. And then once we've done that, we will add some kind of burst of coins that gets thrown out of the crate so that the player can collect them. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, please go ahead and subscribe using this button over here, and then also watch the videos, I guess they're somewhere over here. But thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.